Paul Thomas Anderson's latest movie.
Yeah.
Licorice Pizza. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's going to be up for all sorts of awards this year. Jake is a big PTA guy, correct?
Yes. I very much like PTA. I've been following him since, my first one in the theater was Punch Drunk Love because I was 15 years old.
Had you seen Boogie Nights prior to that?
You know what? I don't know if I had seen it, but I was a big fan of Drew Scriptorama as a kid. So when I
remember that site.
Right?
Oh my God. They had the Dogma script.
Yep.
Back in the early 90s.
All your shit, man.
Yeah. Before, that was how, I never blamed them. At first I thought it was cool. I was like, oh my God, somebody gives a fuck about a movie I haven't made yet. And where'd they get that script?
Right.
But then, like, the religious people used that script and that site to attack us. I remember one guy particularly was like, we read the script on Drew's Scriptorama. And Drew's Scriptorama kids, I don't know if they still exist, and if they do, God bless them. But like, Drew's Scriptorama existed on the internet at a time when you could be like, oh, I did the internet. It was fun. And you literally meant you hit every fucking site. It was like binging on a television show. You're like, I hit every website. It was fucking great. What next? So they were early adapters of the medium and early movie buffs.
Right.
Going like, hey man, here's this amazing communication tool. We're going to use it to fucking put scripts up because we're script fucking nerds. So I spent a lot of time on that site, and I was a filmmaker by the time that site launched. It wasn't like I was a young neophyte hoping to get into the business. I was already fucking a bona fide filmmaker.
Sure.
I would still go to that site to read John Hughes scripts because I had never had access to a John Hughes
Coen
script
Brothers
before.
Scripts or Alien. It's the only way to get better, right? Is to read other people's stuff.
And nowadays, that's fucking simple. Like, you can Google somebody's script, you can buy a book, go to a library, like you can see any screenplay you want. Sometimes you get to read a script before the movie even fucking comes out. But back then, you did not have access. Like, I remember the way that I accessed scripts back in the day was if I went to a Comic-Con, there'd be invariably one dealer with a box of fucking scripts. Like, that's how I read Silence of the Lambs before the movie came out. That's where I got a Batman 3 script by what are their names? The fucking two people that wrote Unforgiven, and then the movie didn't wind up happening.
Really?
Oh, with the fuck, it had Maltese fucking penguins in it. Like that was the mystery at the core. And then they canceled that movie. So like, I used to buy scripts at cons, and then Drew's Scriptorama introduced us to the notion of like, oh, here's a place. And then many people, I'm not going to say they fucking copied him, but they came after him and did the same thing, putting up scripts and whatnot.
Sure. But
what a glorious time you just harkened back to. All right. So you read.
I'm a very specific age.
Yeah.
So I'm born in 87, which means I want to watch R-rated movies and I'm not necessarily allowed to. So before I watched Clerks, I read it on IMDb quotes.
The fuck?
And we were like...
What a weird way to consume the movie
And
first.
me and my friend Dave, that's what we would do. We'd sit there and just laugh, jizz mopper, oh my God, we're fucking 12. Like,
in many ways, it's preferable to looking at Clerks because when you see the words on the IMDb, they're clean, presented on the same background as everybody else. And so you're judging them literally just on those words. Then the moment a picture gets in, that's what gives motherfuckers a chance to be like, this ain't cinema.
Oh, no, fuck that. It's,
But what a weird, you're the first person I've ever met who's like, I got into Clerks through the quotes on the IMDb.
I got into Clerks, to be fair, because the Clerks trailer was on something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Pulp Fiction.
I wasn't watching Pulp Fiction, though. So, like, I don't know what Miramax flick or whatever I was watching. Maybe it was on some Coen Brothers movie or something. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea.
Copy.
And then my older sister, Hannah, is just the right age to be like, because she is born in 77, so she's 10 years older than me. And I remember her talking about your stuff, and like, your stuff is the naughtiest of the naughty. Like, it's the most insane.
It's so weird to think about. I'm so soft now. But wait, let's keep it on PTA. So So what's your first experience with PTA then? You're essentially what Jake's getting at, and we'll learn more about Jake as the show proceeds, is you were a film buff. and you were not able to go see some of the Paul Thomas Anderson canon in theaters based on your age.
Right.
And the first one you did go see was Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
But when did you fuck with the other ones? Like, when did you see a Boogie Nights, a Hard Eight, a Magnolia?
It took me a long time to see Hard Eight. I remember a friend my age saw Magnolia and told me about it, and I was fascinated by the idea. So we rented it, and I watched it with my folks, and I think I was 12 or something like that.
And that movie's, it's R, but I wouldn't call it a hard R.
But it's an adult.
It's an adult R, yeah.
You know, like the stuff that Tom Cruise is talking about. All of it is just like...
Respect the cock.
There's something to be said for these incredible frames. These guys that want to be Kubrick, I get it. I get it. I'm an Hal Ashby guy. I'm a John Cassavetes guy.
Oh my God.
John Cassavetes just turned on the fucking camera and made it. And so it's just two different ways of going about it.
Truth.
I feel like Licorice Pizza goes more Cassavetes than like just these incredible shots. I think he does I like his movies because he feels that shit out, and he likes just kind of the look of things. He uses, I don't know, we agree on certain like production design choices and shit. I like that bare white brick that Cooper Hoffman's sitting in when he's waiting for the cops, you know? Like there's just something about that that's very 70s about it. That shot at the beginning where he's just following them, that opening shot is fucking nuts.
This, oddly enough, like when I think of Paul's stuff, you know, I think of films that are very composed.
Sure.
You know, sometimes the moving shots whip pan into a push and stuff like that. Sometimes a long push in, as in Tom Cruise and Magnolia, when he's just like, I'm quietly judging you.
And you just watched Magnolia.
Don't get into that. Don't fucking,
my bad.
This is about doing a show, bitch. You got to lead to that.
You're the pro. Who the fuck
that's
am
what
I?
they're sitting around waiting for. They're like, get to the part where you watch Magnolia.
No, it's if you've just watched it.
I just literally watched it. So it is, what was I talking about though?
Fuck. He's very composed.
Very composed. This Licorice Pizza felt, you know, more off the cuff. I noticed he was one of the DPs.
Yeah, he started doing that with Phantom Thread.
So that means he's running around with a camera on shoulders. This movie is incredibly underlit. Or it's incredibly lit, and then in post they fucked it everything. I don't mean fucked it up, but they muted it and made it look like a 70s movie and stuff. But it did have a more visceral, from the hip docu-feel. The whole time I was watching it, it's probably because it's set in the valley, but it's also because of the look, and it's also because of the almost documentary nature of the film. All I could think about was one of my favorite films in the entire world, The Bad News Bears, which was set 3 years after Licorice Pizza was set, but shot in the real 70s. PTA makes a movie that looks like it could have been on a double bill, or playing, not a double bill, but in the same fucking, a drive-in, one at 7 o'clock, one at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
It looks like a 70s movie. Sometimes you get these filmmakers who are like, who fetishize making the thing look like the thing. You know, like, we just made Clerks 3, and in Clerks 3, they make Clerks, right? So like at points, we make a black and white present day version of an old movie, blah, blah, blah. You know, and Leron, our DP, was like, all right, man, like, what do you want to fucking do with the footage from the, when you want to make it, you're talking about doing some cool technical shit to it. And I was like, that's just, if it's black and white, that's fine. And he's like, yeah, but the grain and all that. And I'm like, it really doesn't matter. Like, now, to a real filmmaker, that kind of shit would matter. That'd be part of it. Like, oh, they'd be like, oh, that fucking, that's.
But you would have talked about that before you shot it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. It's not like I didn't drop a bomb on him in post. It was in pre.
Right.
When I was like, well, no, that won't be needed. I was like, we'll just shoot on red and take the color.
I see. He actually wanted to shoot on film, or?
Well, there was at one point a discussion about that. And I got a buddy who works at Kodak, who's always like, you got to join me and Chris and Quentin and Paul and, you know,
do the film thing.
Yes. And then he made a really decent pitch this time around, because he was just like, they're shooting a fake movie in the movie. Just shoot the fake movie. on film, on Kodak.
Right.
Which would have made sense if the movie was set in the 90s.
Right.
Set where it is, there's no way those dudes would ever make the more expensive choice to shoot a film. You know, Randall's 50 almost, so he's not like a 18 to 23-year-old kid who's like, you know, we got to fucking shoot film.
Right.
This is a guy who just lived through a heart attack, and he's happy he's making a movie at all. The fact that they're using a red camera, like, is even far-fetched.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Where are these fuckers going to get
be
a
a
red
Black
camera?
Magic Pocket, probably.
Probably, or a fucking
That's
iPhone.
what I shot my shit on.
Or an iPhone. But Leron
iPhone.
was like, look, an iPhone's going to look silly. Like, these guys are making a movie. Let's give them a camera. So they got a camera. So I can't then take that image shot on a red, and everybody sees a red who knows what a red is. Like, oh, I know what the image of a red camera looks like. We're already cheating by being like, here's your camera POV, and it's black and white, which is not the way it is in real life. So, you know, you're using cinematic language to tell a fucking story. That's big enough. That is lying enough for me.
Right.
I don't need to then be like at one point, Leron was like, there's a $10,000 process that we could put this through where it'll really look like the Clerks footage. But I'm like, but that wouldn't make sense. As much as I would love that, that wouldn't make sense because they're making a movie in 2021.
Right.
And, you know, if your red camera gave you an image of what you're talking about we should produce, you'd throw it out. Or you'd be like, give me a new camera. It's broken.
There's something wrong with it.
I was like, if we just get to black and white alone, this story's done. So that's me as the filmmaker. And that's not just lays. I'm like, that's just practical. Paul is the filmmaker, particularly in this instance, where he's like, I'm going to make the thing that looks like the thing.
Yeah.
So it's not only going to be set in that era and have the vibe of that era, and the production design is going to look like that era. It's going to look like literally you saw it in that era. Committing to, like, when I make a flick, I talk about how the story doesn't begin when the movie starts or end when the credits roll. Story begins now, like as I keep talking about Clerks 3 long before anybody sees it and stuff. And then the story never ends because I'll be talking about Clerks 3 till the day I die, same way I've been talking about all the other fucking movies I make. It's up to you, the storyteller, to keep that fucking story going. What it occurs to me, like Paul was doing, is a kind of version of the same, but not, you know, the way I do it where I'm online hyping it up and shit like that. Fuck, I lost the thread or the phantom thread. Too stoned. God, I had a good point. Oh, well, that's gone. Let's get to the
experience of Licorice Pizza, like, because he did the pop-up. He did, he kept it a real secret and changed the title and all this stuff. And then really made it an experience. His rollout was pretty cool this year. And,
I mean, look, if you live out here, and you're anywhere near the valley,
yeah,
you would think this movie was fucking Star Wars.
Oh, sure.
The amount of billboards, as Jake mentioned, there's a pop-up. They did a Fat Bernie's pinball emporium as a pop-up right on, I think, Ventura.
Right next to the theater.
You know, they're MGM, I think they're putting it out. They're spending some fucking money. And the movie is going to definitely get awards. I think it's doing well at the box office right now. It's a movie that could actually cross over, like, to a mainstream audience, because it's like, hey man, love is love, no matter what era.
It's
and this
accessible.
is a weird love story. It is accessible, so
in a good way,
very good way. So I got the Oscar screener for it, and I was like, all right, like, I'm gonna watch this. But before I watched it, you know, I said to Jen, I was like, you want to watch this, the new PTA movie? I was like, it's all about the Valley, and that was Jen's way, and she's like, what? You know, she just loves this area. So she's like, oh, I'd love to see a movie set in the Valley. I was like, set in the past, too, 1973. So what? Oh, my God. And so I was like, before we watch this, I think I should go back and watch Magnolia. And she goes, why? And I was like, I don't know. It's his two Valley movies. I mean, look, fucking Boogie Nights is a Valley movie as well. But, like, it just feels like a part of a thing. Yeah. Before I dive into this, I want to dive back into that because historically, for those that don't know, one of the stupidest things I've ever done in this life, something a modern day Kevin Smith would never do. Modern day Kevin Smith never tells you what he doesn't like. Tells you, screams from the rafters and cries about what he likes and loves, but you'll never hear like, I fucking hated that. It's a piece of shit.
It's a good mojo.
There's no point. You don't
Right.
need to. You want negativity, motherfucker? Open up your laptop or your phone. Like you will find no end of people who want to shit in the mouth of whatever fuck. I'm just here to tell you about the shit I like and stuff, and I'll suffer in silence with the things that I don't fucking like, or I'll tell my loved ones. I got a wife. You think I sit here and be like, "Are you fucking kidding me with this piece of shit?" So, and some people are like, well, be authentic. I'm like, it's not being authentic to tell you the things I don't like. It's being an asshole, as far as I'm concerned. You don't need to know what I don't like.
Right.
Especially if it's not like, look, I went through 4 years of a presidency where everybody in the world was like shouting their displeasure and shit. And I'm like, look, I get it, but like, I'm not going to fucking do the same thing because everyone knows I'm pretty liberal. Or extremely fucking liberal. Everyone knows where I stand on the political spectrum. You don't need one more person being like, this fucking sucks. I'm going to try to be the person that's like, all right, well, here's what's cool, or here's what's good, or here's something fun, or, to take your mind off this, fucking how about this? And sometimes that's about movies and shit like that. Years ago, in 1999, when Dogma came out, it was the same year that Magnolia came out. I was a big Boogie Nights fan, which came out a couple of years prior to that. Boogie Nights came out after Clerks. New Line put it out. But it was awesome. Somebody made a movie about porn. I was like, it's fucking nuts. And it was really good. It was like an Altman type movie.
Right.
So in the world of porn. Fucking Burt Reynolds is amazing. The whole fucking cast is amazing. There's a whole scene where fucking John C. Reilly and Marky Mark are like, how much can you bench? That was so fucking real. Like, I lived in that world, man. Where guys said shit like that to each other. So, and then that world happened to be the world of porn, and sex was treated so fucking casually. And if you look at my work, obviously I'm a big fan of fucking sex, to an almost infantile, juvenile degree. And here was a movie that like treated sex in such a mundane fashion. And in the midst of it, some people are able to find love while fucking, it's beautiful. So Magnolia is coming out, or it's out, and it's getting blown. Everyone loves Magnolia, and all the critics. And it's fucking fantastic. What an achievement. And Dogma was not getting the same kind of love. And so there I was reading my message board at viewaskew.com, and somebody was like, "Hey man, what'd you think of Magnolia?" or something like that. And a modern day Kevin Smith would just move the fuck on. Probably not even respond to that post. But fucking young, stupid, juvenile, jealous, fucking angry young man filmmaker, Kevin Smith, who, only, it was probably around the time he was realizing, oh, there are others like me, and they're way better at this than me. Like, because for a year there, I was the only guy on the planet doing, it was a weird perspective. And then suddenly I was faced with like, I made a movie with fucking huge movie stars, and it was massive and in terms of scope and story, and fucking like certainly was no Shrinking Violet. Fucking world knew about the movie based on the fact that religious people got pissed about it and stuff. And, I was like, where's my Oscar fucking talk? Like a jealous bitch. Yeah, it's true. I could say that now. So I respond to this person's.
Well, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Before you get into that.
Go ahead.
You are also coming off of an Indie Spirit Award for Chasing Amy in writing. Did that have something to do with it?
With me thinking of awards?
And just kind of being like, where the fuck am I in all of this?
Really, it was like, where am I? How come they're not fucking talking about awards for Dogma? That's what I was like so like baffled by. I'm like, oh my God, if you gave me awards for Clerks and, you shit in my mouth from Mallrats, but you gave me awards for Chasing Amy, like Dogma is like way bigger and better than both of those films. And that was a young, 29-year-old fucking Kevin Smith. Like, and don't get me wrong, like Dogma was received incredibly well.
Right.
But when compared to somebody else, that's something an older Kevin Smith would never do in this day and age. Look over the fence. Back then, I looked over the fence all the time. You're like, well, what are they getting?
Right.
As opposed to just minding my own business in my own backyard and enjoying the fact that I got my own fucking backyard. Instead, I look over the fence and be like, what are they getting? It was so fucking stupid and, crazy because we're all in a creative business and we don't really compete.
Right.
But I had people that I was like, ooh, it burns.
Where
But
did Good Will Hunting fit into that?
Good Will Hunting was prior to that. And, you know, I don't get jealous of Good Will Hunting because Good Will Hunt,
I mean, your name's on it.
and also like I'm the bridge to it happening.
Right.
So like, yeah, it stinks when Ben doesn't fucking thank me and Scott when he wins first a Golden Globe and the fucking Oscar. But it's not like, you know, those pieces of shit, like those are my boys, man. I love that script.
But you're coming off of Chasing Amy. You're coming off of Good Will Hunting.
That's why I'm sure some people listen out and be like, why the fuck would you think you made an awards movie? Like, I never thought I was an awards person, but my whole career started with an awards movie. Clerks won the Filmmakers Trophy at Sundance. It won the Prix de la Jeunesse at Cannes, International Critics Week at Cannes, as well as many other film festival, like fucking awards and shit like that. Mallrats, obviously, just got kicked in the nuts and wouldn't fucking become a thing for 10 years. Chasing Amy, though, like gets a standing ovation at fucking Sundance. Joey gets nominated for a Golden Globe. My buddy who ran the fucking Academy, worked at the Academy, was like, I don't know if I should tell you this, but I think you should know because I think it would make you happy. And I was like, all right. And he was like, you were one slot away from best screenplay. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, you had a lot of votes, but like, you know, the 5 that got him.
Have you ever said that before?
I think so, someplace. It's, you know, what is that cool. worth? You know what I'm saying? You don't tell that story because it's like, what kind of currency is that? I was like, you know, think about it this way. Well, think about it this way. What are how many, you know, they pick 4 or 5 nominees.
Right.
You and me didn't make the list together. You know what I'm saying? Like fucking, we're in the same fucking boat, except I made a whole ass movie and didn't get a best screenplay nomination. You were what, 12? And didn't get a best screenplay nomination, but we're all equals when it comes to that. Right. So I was in an awards world. I worked at Miramax. It was an awards driven company and stuff that was also branching over into the world of commercial. So, you know, Dogma was, as we were making it, it was financed because it was like, this is going to win awards because, and look at that cast and blah, blah, blah. So as, you know, the fucking year was ending and like all the chatter was about Magnolia and none of the chatter was about Dogma. And this person asked this question on the View Askew message board instead of just like, you know, rolling on. This is, you know what? if I'm going to do it.
You can do it?
Well, I should get the exact quote. I was out here in Los Angeles. We were working on the Clerks cartoon at this point. So me, Jen, and baby Harley are living at this rental place, not too far from here, actually. And then I'm going into Walt Disney Studios to work on Clerks cartoon with Dave Mandel, who now, you know, went on and did Veep and stuff like that. And Scott and Chris Bailey, who is our lead animator. So when I read this, I am reading the message board at this rental place. The guy's name was Merrick. We were living at Merrick's rental place. So I'm living at Merrick's rental place, came home from working on the cartoon. It's late December, early January, or just early January. It's got to be early January because we came out after Christmas. So if this article is January 27th, then it's got to be somewhere around there. And I read this fucking thing, and, you know, this apparently is what I write. Ready? Remember, the question was this like, hey, did you watch Magnolia? This is what fucking angry young Kevin Smith wrote. Mind you, with no good reason to be angry, he was getting everything he wanted in life, except the attention that Paul Thomas Anderson was getting for his, let's admit it, far superior film, Magnolia. Here we go. Young Kev Smith. Get ready to cringe. My asshole's so tight. They sent me an Academy Screener DVD this week. I'll never watch it again, but I will keep it. I'll keep it right on my desk as a constant reminder that a bloated sense of self-importance is the most unattractive quality in a person or their work. And then apparently I also likened it to a cinematic root canal. You know, pick on someone your own size. This guy's a fucking master of his art at a young age and shit.
That sounds like a reminder for me, is what I feel like. Like, don't forget about it, you know, but it has nothing to do with Magnolia. It's just like separate as a thought.
I mean, it was a complete overreaction to Magnolia too, because I did.
It's pretty mean.
It is pretty mean.
It was pretty
and
mean.
I did enjoy like like lots of aspects of Magnolia. But, you know, there I was, and it fucking lives out there forever, and you can't take it back, like that fucking, you know, Pone tweet or whatever the fuck. It's just, where, yeah, it's like herpes. You carry it forever. So, you know, and I've talked about it many times since then, like, what an idiot that guy is, meaning Kevin Smith. But I have never, like, went back and rewatched Magnolia. Maybe I did a few years ago or something. I think I did, and I was like, yeah, it works. But I couldn't remember much about it other than Tom Cruise and Jason Robards and the frogs, which was where I was like, you know, and also I think that's what like pushed me over the edge, where I'm like, all right, so the fucking frogs in this movie, like people are talking about the biblical fucking, I'm like, I just made a whole fucking biblical movie, bitch. Like, he's got one scene with frogs. I got Metatron, you know what I'm saying? So I was competitive, little bit bitchy dickhead. So, so I, you know, I say to Jen, I'm like, do you remember anything about Magnolia? She's like, yeah, a little bit, but not a lot. I was like, I feel like we should watch that before we watch Licorice Pizza. I loved Magnolia much, much more, obviously, than I did when I wrote those things back in the year 2000. So 21 years later, almost 22.
Yeah.
The brink of 22. I revisited the movie and loved it so very much. And here's what I come up with. Yeah, there was like, what a jealous bitch young Kevin Smith was. I'm fucking dumbfounded by how much I love this movie, Magnolia. And, you know, I'm crying through it. My wife is just like, you know, what did you write about it? I'm like, fuck you. Just eating fucking shit, but I don't care because it moves me, and anything that moves me gets my fucking approval. The stage is set to watch Licorice Pizza because I've now watched Magnolia, and I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I always knew Paul was a great filmmaker, but I'm like, oh my God. You know, my old white whale from the late 90s, early aughts. What a horrible way to begin the 2000s. No wonder shit went all downhill. You know,
you can draw a direct line.
Oh my God, totally. I'll show you a Venn fucking diagram or a flow chart of that comment to like fucking hear me sitting here podcasting for a living.
2016.
So, I go and watch Licorice Pizza with the wife. There's a moment in Licorice Pizza where the John Peters character, he says, "We speak the same language, huh? We're both from the streets." Now, you know, I told that fucking Superman story for years on Evening with Kevin Smith and at colleges, and it's on the internet and stuff. And I talked about John Peters, and for years, for a generation, I was the guy, the only person talking about John Peters. He was a figure of fucking myth.
You did How Did This Get Made and talked about it as well.
Yes, until John Schnepp made the documentary The Death of Superman Lives, What Happens. And John Peters sounded exactly, and said the exact same things that I said he said. Like for fucking 10, 20 years, it was a story that I told, and a lot of people were like, nah, you're just blowing this up, man. You're like, you're exaggerating. Nobody's that weird. And I'm like, you can see right now in this doc. So here's this moment in Licorice Pizza where the character of John Peters says, we're from the streets, which is legit something that he said to me and that I said in that story every time I told it. But of course, mostly on the Evening with Kevin Smith, the clip that's online.
And how I, as at 20, I'm 34 now, as a 34-year-old, associate John Peters like mostly with you in that story.
Right. It also reminded me of like Harold and Maude.
Yeah.
Paul Thomas Anderson feels like a part of that school, of that legacy. Not even like, oh, he's biting off Ashby. He feels like he could stand shoulder to shoulder. He feels like he's making a movie like Ashby would. He just always feels like he's making a movie from a better time when people respected cinema more.
Right. It's when people say like, oh, Nolan's the closest thing we have to Kubrick. I'm like yes and no personally. But it is that kind of, they're aiming for this trajectory, and I do feel like they kind of work shoulder to shoulder.